Hi, fifth graders. My name is Miss Earl, and I am one of the counselors at the Collingswood Middle School where you will be coming next year. And we are so excited to have you come to be a CMS Panther. Normally, we would love to visit your classrooms, and I know we just can't do that this year to welcome you. So we wanted to put together a little slideshow to just tell you how excited we are and tell you some things about CMS. So we want to help you today to get to know CMS, Collingswood Middle School. So first of all, we want to tell you, what is it like at CMS? My main message to you is going to be, don't worry, it will be great. So I want to tell you a little bit about what it's going to be like when you come to us next year. So first of all, really important, when the school year begins, we are going to take care of you. You're our new students. Don't worry. Um, you're going to walk through the doors and enter new classes, and we are going to be prepared to get you ready. We won't expect you to be prepared completely because this end of the school year right now is a lot different than what we're used to. So in the first several weeks of school, we're going to be giving you your orientation. It's going to be every day that we're in classes together. um, those days are going to be your orientation. We're going to prepare you. We're going to teach you all about what you need to know about the middle school, which isn't just about your subjects that you're learning. It's a lot about just what middle school is like, what you need to know, how you need to get organized, um, all the things that you're going to need to do. We're going to prepare you for that in the first several weeks of school next year, which is a big part of why I'm saying, don't worry, we won't expect you to be prepared on the first day. We're going to take a few weeks of school in the beginning in September to get you ready. Another really cool thing that I'll go into more as I talk is that there will be many adults to support you in our building. Middle school is bigger than elementary school. I'm sure that you all kind of have been thinking about that and realize that. But a really cool thing about it is that we have more people to support our students. So there's going to be a lot of different adults, and I'm going to show you who a lot of them are. There's going to be a lot of different adults there to support you. And then honestly, one of my favorite things about welcoming you all to middle school is getting to see how many new friendships develop over your years at the middle school. I do believe that friends are really important as you are getting into your middle school and high school years, and you'll make a lot of your really great and best friends when you come to the middle school over your years with us. So that's something to look forward to. So, of course, we have learning to do at CMS, right? Just like you're doing now in your elementary classroom. So, this is a list of what we call our core subjects at the middle school. A lot of the same stuff that you're studying now, but what's pretty neat is that you get to spend an equal amount of time on all of these subjects. So, language arts, which you also know as your reading, you'll have a class for that. You'll have another class just for writing. You'll have a math class, of course, and then you'll also have a science class and a social studies class. And in most cases, these are different teachers for each of these subjects. So again, that's where you kind of get to know so many new adults in the building. And last but certainly not least on our list is physical education and health. That's what you might know as gym. That's a big change when you come to middle school and continues in high school. Phys ed is considered one of your main subjects at the middle school. It's not just a special area subject anymore, which honestly, it's like one of the things that our middle school is really like the best, is that you get to spend extra time and preparation on phys ed. And then we always do study a subject in health each year for several weeks. In sixth grade, it's typically studying nutrition and hygiene. So that's something to look forward to. So like I said, these are all core subjects. You're going to have different classes and most likely different teachers for each of these subjects. But then we also have some other things that you'll study. These are some of our special area subjects at CMS. So you're kind of familiar with your specials in elementary school that you've usually either, I think, a different teacher will come into the classroom, or you might be pulled out of class to a different room for these subjects. In middle school, these are also different classes in your schedule that are given equal time for the most part to your other subjects. They're just considered special areas. So Learning Lab is one class that almost every sixth grader fits into their schedule. And it's, in a nutshell, mainly based in learning computer skills and working through different computer programs. Every sixth grader takes one marking period of Spanish instruction. And in the middle school, when I mentioned marking periods, we have 4 marking periods in our school year. So that's another slight change. In elementary, I believe you have 3. In middle school, we have 4 marking periods. So 1 marking period, every single sixth grader will take Spanish. And then some of the other classes you might take for just 1 marking period are art, I-cubed, and tech ed. Art, I think most of you are probably familiar with that subject when I mention it, whether you love it or not. I-cubed is a technology and design class, as well as tech ed is also another science, technology, and engineering class. But they're both slightly different, and they're really very popular and pretty cool things that you get to experience at middle school. And again, each of these classes are just 1 marking period long, so that's about 9 weeks that you get to learn, and then you kind of rotate to a different subject. So these are things that might be in your schedule, might be part of your school year when you come to sixth grade. These are specials as well. However, we call these music electives at CMS. So here's another change when you're coming to the middle school. Many of you probably have participated in Panther Choir or played an instrument in elementary, but when you come to middle school, you can choose to make these music electives part of your daily schedule. So this is your choice, because not everybody loves to sing or play an instrument, but for those of you who do enjoy singing, for those of you who do play an instrument, orchestra, if you're not familiar, is all of our string instruments, violin, viola, upright bass, etc. And then band are our other instruments. We will be emailing a form to all of your parents and guardians for any of you who are interested in signing up for these classes, because they're not required, like I said, but they're voluntary. So if this is something that you really love and have a passion for music and you want to sign up for, your parents are all going to get a form, and they can choose whether to sign you up or not. And on the form, there's a whole lot more details. So when they get that, they'll be able to read over that with you. So moving on. We also have a lot of extra stuff outside of just our classes that we have in our schedule. I went over your core classes and your special class options, the music electives, but there's something else that we call extracurricular activities. That's a term that's been around for a really long time. You may have heard it before, but it's basically anything that's outside of the things that you do in your daily classes, like after school clubs, sports that you're playing for our school, student organizations, and we do have several special events throughout the year. So I can mention a few examples, but there's just so much that you'll get to experience when you come to the middle school. I can't even name all of the things right now. It's just, I think, a really big area to look forward to. Extracurricular activities are also a really great way to get involved in school and get to know other people who go to school with you. So after school clubs, just to name a few, we have a kindness club, we have a yearbook club, we have a games club, a social justice club, and there's a whole lot more than that. And those actually do tend to change each year with what students are interested in and with what teachers are interested in organizing. Of course, we do have school sports, and that's a kind of a new and different thing. It's not recreation or travel, it's schools playing against other schools. So the middle school sports teams will play and compete against other local middle schools. I can quickly kind of name those sports if you're not familiar. In the fall, we have cross country, field hockey, we have soccer. In the wintertime, we have basketball and wrestling. And in the springtime, we have track and field, we have baseball, softball, and lacrosse. So lots of different options for sports if you're interested when you come to the middle school. Student organizations, those are things you'll find more about, when you come to the middle school, like Honor Society and Student Council, ways to get involved, make your school a better place, and be part of a student-led organization. And then special events, you have special events at your school now. We do the same thing at the middle school where we celebrate respect in October every year with some fun activities. We do some special activities in a spirit week prior to our winter break every year. We have some competitions. We do some special things for historical events, usually for September 11th, for Veterans Day. We typically have a college and career week every year. So again, I know I'm mentioning a lot of things here. I don't expect you to remember these all. I just hope that these help you to get excited for coming to the middle school, because extracurricular activities are a really great way to enjoy your middle school experience. So next, I mentioned this before, I really want you to know a little bit about who are you going to see while you're at CMS. Teachers and staff are a big part, and I'm going to kind of go through a bunch of the faces that you may see, and this will give you an idea of how many new people are going to be around to support you, to teach you, to help you, to be there to talk to you and to listen to you. Normally in elementary, you get to know a couple of new teachers each year. Well, you're going to get to know a lot of new teachers next year, for all of your different subjects. And then, of course, our different support staff at the school. So I'll start off with our main office staff. We have Dr. McMullen all the way on the left. He is our principal. Mrs. Schaefer is one of our main office secretaries. Mr. Jefferson is our assistant principal, and Mrs. Seeley is one of our other main office secretaries. When you come into our main office, these are a lot of the faces that you'll see every day who are all there to help you. In the counseling office, we have Mrs. Alexander, who is one of our school counselors. And in the middle there is Miss Earl, that's me who's speaking right now. I'm our other school counselor. And all the way on the right is Mrs. Gross. She's our counseling office secretary. So we have a different office from the main office. When you come in, you'll see us, and our main number one job in the building is really to help you all with whatever you need, to listen to you when you need to talk, and just to be really big support people for you. So we also have some more support staff, and this isn't even everybody, but some other faces you might get to see next year. Mrs. Menino on the left, she is one of our learning support people in the child study team. Mrs. Spencer in the middle. She's our speech and language support therapist. And then with the really beautiful, colorful mask all the way on the right is Mrs. Casey. Sometimes our staff does like fun things for picture day like that. Mrs. Casey is our school nurse, and she's there every day to help students who aren't feeling well or need anything that a nurse could help with. Of course, we have teachers too. We have teachers in every subject area. These are your language arts and writing teachers. Mrs. Tinges, Mrs. Tosh, Mrs. Turcott, Miss Whitman in the really fun and interesting hat over there. Like I said, some teachers like to do fun things for our picture day. Math teachers, Mr. Mosher, Mrs. Hahn, Mr. Camps are all there to support you. And of course, we have our science teachers, Mrs. Henahan, Mrs. Karetny, Mr. Sarabian. And as I go through, I'm showing you some of the faces of people who are mainly our sixth grade teachers, but we have even more teachers than this who you might get to know who teach some of the upper grades as well. For social studies, we have Miss Neisner, Mr. McLean. And for phys ed, we have Mr. Lamb, Mrs. Dayton, Mr. Spronick, our support teachers. So these are additional support teachers. They teach a lot of different subjects, but they're really there to give students the extra support that's needed. Mrs. Jenko, Mrs. Gizzo, Mr. McLaughlin. And then I can't even fit all of our special area teachers in. And but these are some of the other faces that I had to squeeze in here to this slide. Some of those special area subjects that I mentioned are taught by these teachers here. I'll start at the top from left to right. There's Miss Gross, who teaches Learning Lab, Mrs. Johnson, who teaches Tech Ed, Mrs. Bruner, or also known as Senora Bruner, who teaches Spanish, Mrs. Winkler, who teaches art. Some of you might know Mr. Hartong already. He is our choir teacher. And in the middle on the bottom, Mr. DeSantis is our orchestra teacher. And last but not least, Mr. Myers is our I-cubed teacher. He also teaches some other cool classes for the older grades like robotics and programming. So that was a lot of teachers, right? And don't forget, another really cool thing, like I mentioned before, you're going to meet lots of other students as well. You already know your current classmates. I think most of them will be coming over with you. And all the students from other elementaries in Collingswood and Oakland will be coming as well together. You'll get to know the current CMS students who are in 6th grade and 7th grade this year. They'll be your 7th and 8th grade buddies next year who will be there to help you out and show you the ropes. And then every year we get new students who come from all over the state, from outside of the state, sometimes from different countries. So there's going to be lots of people for you to get to know, and that kind of gives you the potential for making lots of new friends, like I mentioned earlier. Lots and lots of people to support you. So I wanted to share a quote from our principal, Dr. McMullen. He says this every time. Once you come to middle school, you'll realize that every middle schooler can pretty much recite this by the time they're in 8th grade. Dr. McMullen says this every single morning on our school announcements. At CMS, the staff loves all of our students, and students, there isn't anything that you can do about it. Like I said, that's from Dr. McMullen, our principal, and not that you would want to do anything about it, but I think that just reinforces our feeling at the middle school that we're one big family and there's so many people there to support each other. So, like I said, this is just a little taste of what you will see and experience when you come to the middle of school next year. But I want to remind you so much that we will be in orientation mode for the first several weeks of school. We do not expect you to come and walk through the doors in September and be all prepared and know all about middle school yet. We will get you there in the first weeks of school next year. You will have tons of support. I showed you a lot of faces, and there will be even more people than that there who will get to know and who will be happy to help you. And honestly, I really just think middle school is fun and exciting. Yes, it's definitely challenging, but there's so much to look forward to and so much to learn and get involved in. So I just want to remind you to complete your summer reading and math assignments that your teachers will be sharing with you. Um, Complete those over the summer, and that's it. And then we'll see you in September. So we really just want you to have a great summer. Yes, do your summer reading and math that you get sent home with, but try to have a nice, relaxing summer. I think we could all use that and need that. And we are going to get you all set when you come to the middle school in September. Okay, so I hope that this was helpful, and we really look forward to getting to know you.